Hey, horror fiends, welcome back to Horror Fiend TV podcast, episode 2 for The Last of Us. I'm Lexi, my partner in crimes, both partners in crime, JR and Ricky Grimes. Now, let's get started, guys. This has been a incredible episode, and I'm so ready to talk about it. What were your first reactions on episode number 2? Starting with Mr. Grimes over here.
Once again, and I really hope this becomes the norm, I love the cold open. The fact that we see it from Jakarta's point of view, from when it started there. And of course, the theories were correct. It started with the crops, it's in the flower. It was acknowledged by the actual showrunners that is exactly what happened. So awesome stuff, very scary. I mean, just from the beginning, the way the soldiers go into that diner or restaurant, and all the patrons are like scared because they a lot of them live through stuff like that. And they know when they see like the MTs, it's a no, it's not good. And then the poor lady in the back, in the got her in the back seat, she's scared shitless, and she's like asking the questions, am I in trouble or this and that, and they don't know, and then but she knows, all right, then it's got to be something serious because she's a mycology. That's her background. So that's someone who specializes in fungi essentially. And I loved it. It just from the moment she looked into the actual microscope and she looked over and said, "No, this is or cordyceps. This why do you got the slides different?" They mentioned it's part of a human specimen. She's like, "It's impossible." They show her that the dead body with the bullet in the head. Really gross when he cut the leg, the foot, and it's got all that fungus underneath. Holy shit! Like it really takes over your entire body. That's the crazy shit about it. And then she has the actual cordyceps inside, still moving alive. The tentacles. That's the new stuff that they added to the show version of that. And it's creepy, scary. I mean, and what made it to me, and it wasn't even that stuff. It's when the doctor is getting the information about we need you for a vaccine, for medicine to stop the spread. And the way she's at the table and the camera slowly is pushing in, very subtle, but it's pushing in, and you can see her mind just boom, boom, boom. And she's like, no, you gotta listen to me. Pretty much we're fucked. Like, and they asked, what are we gonna do? Bomb.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, in the first episode of the cold open, what did the doctor say? He said that there's no vaccines, no medicine, nothing's. We're not prepared for this, and awesome stuff. And the episode as a whole, great stuff. Lots to go into. A lot of good character moments and a lot of good action. So yeah, I'm very pleased. My first reaction was I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Nah,
JR?
I agree. I like that whole opening segment with the doctor because it, once again, like when you do flashbacks, they have to be for a reason. And the funny thing is, we had mentioned it when we did our first review of it, the mention of Jakarta, and Rick got deep into, the theory about the flower. And the fact that they opened up Jakarta, I'm like, hey, we were just talking about that, which is kind of cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
I like her change of almost demeanor because, first of all, she was scared to go. And regardless, before she even entered the room, you almost got this feeling of dread. And then when she opened the body, checked it, and things were still alive inside the body. And then yeah, I agree. Her whole change of moves. All right, just bomb. Oh, by the way, because somebody dropped me off at home. I want to go spend time with my family.
Yeah.
I mean, you're sitting there like,
That's what
you got somebody
got
sitting
real.
there like, oh shit. And then fast forward to, Joel. I said it right, Joel. And and
Joel.
yeah, his whole doubt about Ellie and why should they sacrifice themselves for her, and it was an episode where you seen like some doubts put in even to Joel, and this is for somebody I didn't play the game, so witnessing is like here's a guy who's stubborn and he wants to go find Tommy, and I mean he's at the point where he's just let's go back and if they can kill her, they kill her. She's not our problem. But yeah, it was a good episode. First sacrifice of the series, but yeah, it was an interesting one. Looking forward to talking about that.
If you notice too, keep in mind that Joe's been at this for over 20 years now. So he mentioned it. He's heard the vaccine before. He's heard the cure. He's heard, the big hope. He's over it. But I think Tess, he listens to Tess. Tess is the boss in this relationship. And the fact that she was telling him, please, you have to do this. You have to just, no matter what. He listens and he's out. But yeah, right. Yeah, Joe, I love his character because he's not like any other hero or main protagonist, man. He's got layers to him.
He's like, I don't need this shit. Let's just go.
Awesome stuff. It's awesome.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you guys. The opening was awesome, especially in Jakarta after our last conversation. It was perfect. Now, to get a little nerdy with the mycologist lady, I didn't understand the words that she was using. I slept in that class, back then. So I actually had to like Google it and figure out what is she talking about. I had to pause and learn how to spell it and all of that. So by definition, it is a fungi that grows on insects. And so I thought that was interesting because it's a parasite, according to Google, that spreads through ants and manipulates by ants. So I thought that was cool. Not really related to this show, but I think it's a cool understanding on what Ophocordyceps was, but cordyceps itself.
Cordyceps. You're right. That's exactly what it does. Yeah, and that's the scary part.
And that is scary because how many ants are out there in the freaking world? But the way that they do it in this show is that, and if you watch the very, very end of the episode where all the closing credits are done, they kind of go more in depth about cordyceps and how they came up with the idea. I don't know if you guys watched the very ending, but
you mean like the little quick interviews with the two?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw it.
They basically explained where you step on one cordyceps, it awakens a whole field of zombies somewhere else, and they know exactly where you are. Because they're connected. Yeah. So that was pretty awesome. Now in the game, obviously, spores, and it's in one area or the other. So and I've played the game for so long, but I like the difference for the show. It really works. Also, like you pointed out, where she looked in the microscope, I'm not even going to try to say the word that they said, but it was a certain chemical that they put on the slides. That's supposed to, because it was for human. And she's like, cordyceps don't survive on humans. And so that gave me her whole persona.
And the reaction to the end, when she said that, he was like,
yes,
we got a lot to look at.
What she said that frightened me most and just gave me bone chilling chills up my spine and neck was when she said bomb. That's all she said first. Was just bomb, and then
English,
she said
in English like that.
And in English, and so I was like, oh my god. And so the whole opening was perfect in Jakarta. So I agree with
the acting was on point.
Oh yeah,
when she was like, listen to me very carefully. I spent my entire life studying these things. There is no medicine, there is no vaccine. And then the guy was like, the soldier was, what is he he was at obviously one of the high.
He was like a military, definitely a high military. I won't say doctor, but almost like you got the thing where he was like one of those military officers who are tied with.
He's the military police, but he was a high-ranking officer,
like the general.
Yes,
like Biohazard. So
yeah. Now, like she was amazing, but don't discredit him because he was good. The look on his face when he was like, well, what are we gonna do then? And she mentioned bomb. Oh man, yeah.
It just gave me chills, and like you said, when she mentioned her family, it really touches your heart, deep in your soul. Because like, what do you do at that point?
We can all relate to that.
Yeah, and the scene where they have the lady on the table. And in the interview at the very end of the closing credits, they said they had to use mycelium. I wrote it down, which is threads of fungi to help with that scene. So I thought that was awesome. So just a little bit of knowledge on that. But talking about back at where she's sitting with the soldier, what also chilled me was where she was talking about, well, where did this start? It started at the flour factory, or yeah, and
Mill factory.
so the whole thing, especially with our last conversation, it all just started to connect. So it was like it continued our conversation in the very beginning of the show. But and then she goes into so who did she bite? How many? And this and that. And then her last question was, well, who bit her? We don't know. How many are missing? 14. So it's like, oh shit. She then realized that, yeah, she was shaking with
shaking. Oh my god, I'm telling you.
Her tea was shaking. It was just that whole scene right there with the conversation with the soldier frightened me. Like before we even saw the rest of the episode, I was like, oh man, I had to grab my Freddy Krueger blanket and hide under it. I was scared.
It is scary, man. It's because it's something that it can happen, and these things are real. You can look up cordyceps and you can see them on insects. You can see the tendrils, which is amazing. That stuff really exists. So.
Oh, when you actually watched
that picture.
Yeah, that was you that sent that, right?
Yeah.
I was wondering.
I sent you.
Oh, nice.
I was like, isn't it odd that the thing they pull out of her mouth looks exactly like the picture from Google?
Yes, thank you.
Like,
yeah.
It did remind me of Strain, because it's the same thing with the Strain.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. But the thing I like too is she mentioned about bomb, and then the minute they start walking, what's the first thing Ellie talks about? Oh, look at the crater. Just where they bombed. I thought that was good. All right, and then they explain how they hit all the populated areas, which
that's how they destroyed the whole United States, was the bombing, but it didn't work.
Never works, man.
I mean, it could have been. And listen, there's still humans out there, so if they didn't bomb, maybe they would have been extinct. Who knows? But it's a debate.
So what were your guys' thoughts on the evolved forms of the infection? Clickers, stalkers, even the whole part where they're on the roof and they Tess points out, well, they're all connected. Or Ellie might have said that.
No, it was Tess. It was Tess. Ellie, she's not too familiar with this stuff yet. Ellie was saying,
I thought it was Tess.
I heard there was rumors of infected that are blind and they make sounds at night or some shit like that. And Joel and Tess look at each other like, oh, if only she knew. JR, you go first. I want to hear your thoughts since you're new to this. Clickers, the stalkers, like they're the evolved forms, man. What you think?
Well, the funny thing is, like, I was anxious to see what they look like first, and the fact that when they were on top of the building, I think it was a hotel, right? Because they went into the hotel first, and then they had to go into the museum afterwards. Right. So when they're looking down, and the fact that here you have all the infected laying down on the ground, and every time the sunlight would move, they would move with the sunlight, which I thought that was pretty cool because they all moved it as one.
Yeah,
I was like, oh shit, all right. That's where I got the first hive mentality.
And it's a neat way to conserve your energy, because don't forget they're feeding off these bodies. They can't always be active for no reason. So
yeah, I thought that was a cool bit too. And then when you finally see now I had to talk to you guys prior to us, about which is the difference between the clickers and stalkers, but clickers are cool. I like the CGI was amazing on it. I mean, the fact that I like the fact that they made.
That's a guy, bro. Yeah. That was a suit, bro.
They're blind. They can only hear, which I always liked that in movies when they have killers or something or mutants are like that where they can't see. That always gives you a better edge as far as because after that happened, when they found the first one, they're like literally hiding. They're just trying to not move as much as possible. That's where Ellie's like breathing extra hard and shit, but.
Right.
I liked that. I liked the stalker. I mean, that scene kind of like pissed me off a little bit at the same time. But I'm sitting there like, all right, this is pretty cool that they have the stalker. The reason it pissed me off
was the most controversial scene.
I'm like, why are you? All right, so I'll just get this out in the open now. That scene kind of pissed me off.
Yeah, so, let's talk about it.
So you have obviously, I knew Tess got bit. For me, I think it was a little obvious because she disappeared. She got chased and she disappeared. Usually when that happens in a lot of movies, that person got.
Yeah, I know it happened in the game as well.
Yeah.
I'm to the point where just show me the bite. Don't hide.
Yes, it's too obvious. You knew that was going to happen. For me, I knew once she disappeared and came back, I was like, all right, she got bit and it's going to be revealed later on. So they go into the museum and this is where she revealed that Ellie, I don't know how she found out she got bit. But
because I guess the verbiage that Ellie's smart. She picks up on a lot.
Yeah.
But this is the part that killed me. You knew Tess was basically going to sacrifice herself, right? You have all this ammo here. They have cases upon cases of
Bro,
ammo.
I would have took all.
And I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, hold on, if I'm Joel, I'm pocketing some of these stuff. You know, I'm taking some of the stuff with me. Hey, Tess, here you go. Here's these guns. Take out as many as possible. And the fact that they didn't do that kind of killed me. I'm like, why? I mean, I understand this part of the storyline because you wanted the whole dramatic, the fact that she was infected and she didn't even know how to handle it because she's having a hard time, you know, trying to get the lighter going. And then she takes that pause. I honestly thought she was going to let herself get taken. And then I'm like, all right, we're going to see her later on. Which that scene kind of, I mean, just, you got a gun, shoot it to the fucking ground. There was
if you notice, very subtly, after she got bit, her hand was always
it's almost like carcasses.
Yeah.
So
when she was with the lighter, I think I'm not saying that's what it was, but I don't know. I guess I'm trying to play devil's advocate.
That's the only thing that could. That's the only thing that killed me. Like, you gotta have all these freaking weapons, man. Go out in the blaze.
I think Joel and Ellie, they see the importance of this mission. And they don't want to waste no time. They got all these guys running over here.
No, but they could have set her up. Hey, here you go, go all out.
I think so. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Make it a firefight. Take as many out as you can. Because even though they did the explosion,
they don't want to risk it. They don't want to risk getting Ellie killed. Listen, they just got 2 clickers, right? And they both got bit.
Yeah.
So at this point, I think they're not taking no chances, unfortunately.
That's the only knock I have on that. Is like have Tess go all out and stuff, and the fact that she almost let herself get infected, and then I
thought you were gonna say something else.
No, that's the only thing I'm saying. Like, you know,
no, I'll bring it up later. What I thought it was.
It's like go out in a firefight like that. But yeah, I mean, it was cool seeing them, and I was anxious to see what they look like because you guys mentioned them in the last episode.
Real quick, but I know we're gonna talk about this later a little bit in the video game part. But Lexi, you refresh me. In the actual game, there was a firefight. Was it the federal officers coming in and Tess went toe to toe with them? Is that how it went? I mean,
yes. So you know how they were in the first episode? They were on. Are we talking about the part where they're all on their knees outside?
No. Right now, like it's like when Tessa sacrificed herself and it wasn't infected running in. It was Fedra. They were coming in, and she went and got into a firefight with them, and that's how she sacrificed herself.
So I played the game today, actually, and I stopped right before that whole thing. So I don't remember, honestly.
Remember, I played this game when it first came out, and
I was trying to finish it, but I felt like it was more important to watch the show again before it got on.
I feel you. One thing I wanted to bring up was just I like the hive mind aspect of the infected. I think it adds a lot more stakes, and you have to be a lot more careful. And like when that one infected that Joel killed had the cordyceps like on the ground, and it touched the hand. If you look, it went underneath the fingernail. That's just that was creepy. And that's when they all started waking up. Oh man, I think that's a really cool, because I don't think that's not in the game either. The whole hive mind. No, that's that whole.
It's all in spores.
It makes it better, to be honest.
What's nice about that? Yeah. Because what's nice about that is it's like they actually work together, right? There's no problems. They're sentient, right? Mm-hmm. They're not like humans. Like humans fight each other, and that's how they lose. But this cordyceps, they act as one. They're one big. It's just they're one big unit of just fucked up shit that's just gonna tear apart everything. But at the same time, they're smart. Like I mentioned before, they conserve their energy. They waited, and then once they found there was people around, boof, they woke up and they're out. So I like that about that. The stalkers, I don't got too much to say yet. That one scene was very brief and very creepy, but and the clickers done to perfection, as you can see.
That is so awesome. I need one of those.
I got this DOG right here. Unfortunately, man, all these prices for these motherfuckers are like
going up.
But I think done well. So how about you?
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
I think the real cool thing about the hive mentality is going forward. As somebody who, like I said, I didn't play the game, you're more cautious of how you're going to kill one of these things, knowing that at any point they could set off the rest of the hive.
And you got to watch where you step now, too.
So that I think that makes it even more interesting.
Yeah.
If they didn't have the hive mentality, then you could kill as many as you want. You don't have to worry about basically anybody coming. But being now you're worried about others being alerted. The minute you kill one, you gotta get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that.
Another layer added too in the same episode when Ellie and Joe were talking, and Ellie asked him how long do they live for. He said, 1 or 2 months, but there's some that just walking around for over 20 years. And those are the clickers, obviously. That's what they evolve into. So again, Joel and Tess has a lot of experience with these things. And the fact that now that you mentioned with this, you got to watch where you walk. And Joel, when he inspected the crusty ass fungi, that the bone dry, he said, that's, I guess they dry out when they die out. So good stuff.
Right. So for me, I played the scene today when I was on the game today, where they're going through the clicker area in the museum and stuff, where they're all three fighting off these clickers. Now, what interested me most was Ellie was bit a second time, which is not in the game version. So I found that very interesting. I kind of like that twist because it gives more hope towards Tess' theory of him believing and having hope again.
And
so
Joel,
it
too.
kind of just solidifies her feeling.
Joel's really pessimistic.
Well,
saying,
he doesn't show it, but you can get that vibe from him that, I mean, because she said at the end, save who you can save. And so he ends up grabbing her because, you know, he's going to listen to Tess. And two, he's starting to slowly, he doesn't show it because he's a tough guy, onion with many layers. So, yeah. But the clickers, I was so waiting for that. I was so waiting for this point.
I know you were, yeah.
Yes, I love the clickers in the game, and it's actually not CGI. I believe at the very end, again with the closing credits, they actually had to build those. Those are actually actors underneath the masks.
That's what I was mentioning earlier.
Yeah.
That's not, maybe some CGI to enhance their movements, but that's all actors.
And they move exactly. Yeah, the movements of the clickers were exactly in the game.
God, even the clothing was the same exact clothing, man.
Yeah. So whoever the actors are under there, like bravo. Like it was so like the way they move.
And they use the same voice actors too, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. It was awesome. And but the clickers were awesome. The way they look, they were just so on point, spot on with that. And again, back to where Ellie gets bit, I find it interesting because it doesn't happen in the game. And again, hope for that. But I also wrote down the way that they're getting around the building. And, you know, Ellie's following Joe, reading his lips. They can hear you, but they can't see you. So please, like, go quiet. And it's the same way in the game. You have to absolutely push that analog very slowly and crawl around and, you know, kill him quietly, you know, shiv him or choke him out or something.
You're right. I forgot about
that.
That's true.
So, and the way that I love the part where, you know, he's trying to reload the gun, Joel, and he goes around and looks and sees Ellie crouched. And then they both turn and crouch and start walking behind that big, I don't even know what it was, glass area. The table or whatever, but it's the same way in the game. The way they move, the way they turn around and crawl behind. Like I was like, this is so epic because it's the same exact way in the game.
Even when Joel calls you're a weird little girl, that's that's from the game too.
Right, and their relationship, like they're hilarious. And I wrote some of their quotes down because I love Ellie and Joel's like sense of humor. They were digging at each other the whole episode.
All in, yeah. I'm all in. The actress is doing a good job.
Yeah. Bella Ramsey, right?
Yeah, Bella Ramsey. She's
so the scene right behind JR, where she's like, "Can I go to the bathroom now? Anything bad back here?" And Joel's like, "Just you."
Another one all night because she turned.
One of the other lines was Tess said, and it's the same scene where Joel's background is, where she's like, "Is that chicken?" "Yeah, from smugglers." That Marlene, no, guess not from you guys. So they were just like, and they were eating jerky.
And Joe brought it back.
Ass chicken sandwich.
Joe brought it back when he asked for the flesh. Said, "What? You only got sandwiches in there?"
Yeah. I just love their whole dialogue, and the dialogue, like where they sit and talk, like is the same dialogue, and because you go around in the map and you play the game, but then they stop for those scenes, so it's the same exact dialogue. So I like that. Yeah, their sense of humor is hilarious. So I liked those parts where they had the moment, like with Ellie twitching, and that part was hilarious. And
Joe
then,
would have murked her, bro. I don't want to mess around with
yeah,
someone like Joe. He wants a reason to kill us.
And then she asked, "Can I have a gun?" And he's like, "No." And then she's like, "Fine, I'll just throw my fucking sandwich at them." Like stuff like that. It was just, it was a nice little humor. It wasn't too much, but it is their personality. I feel like they're more funny here than in the game, but
the show needs it because the show is very bleak and it's nice break up.
Now the details, like I said last time, I'm gonna be talking about details. The details of the background, the scenery, especially when they're coming out of that scene right behind JR. They're looking at downtown, which is one of the maps in MP Factions, which is awesome. And it's also in the game as well. But I loved the detailing because it's the same exact sideways building on the other building in both the game and the side game for Last of Us. So, and the map is called Downtown as well. So I think that was a nice little, I guess that's an Easter egg right there. I could add that to the next one. But yeah. Speaking of, what were some of the changes or Easter eggs that you noticed, starting with you, Ricky Grimes?
We spoke about a lot of them already, but one I noticed that was in there. Yeah. I think you would call it. You play the MP Factions, the giraffe, the little stuffed giraffe, and also that adds much more significance later. I keep saying this, but my favorite scene from the video game, it's got to be in the show. As accurate as the show is, you'll know when you see it, but the giraffe is that. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, damn! Okay, they hit a giraffe in there." So that's a nice little Easter egg on that.
Yeah. And notice at the end of the episode, when they're, or was it in the end, or kind of close to the end, where the background that you had last time, JR, was in this episode. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
But one of the Easter eggs I noticed was the lighter that she had.
The lighter. Who? Ellie's lighter?
It had no, Tessa's lighter at the end. It's from Sandrake. It's
Uncharted
lighter.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, they asked the Neil, like, they asked for the prop guys, what lighter do you, what kind of the design would you want? He was like, "Oh, I got one for you." He came on the Nathan Drake lighter.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So there was 3 maps in this episode that I noticed that's also in the game, which is Wharf map, Downtown map, and Capital map, which is in the MP Factions, but they all were in this scene or in this episode as well. So that was a nice Easter egg.
At this point, every single like frame of every single frame in this film of the show is lifted from the game somehow. It's incredible.
Yeah, the people that are all a part of that, doing the prop and the background, like, they're freaking badass.
Give them their flowers, man, because they
yes, for sure. One of the other Easter eggs that Ellie mentions, and she said it when they were walking across the bridge, she said something about infected spores.
Yeah.
So I thought that was nice. I was like, okay, so you kind of mentioned it, although it's not going to be the.
But did you hear? They said that they're considering adding them as an element in season 2. So it's not completely out of the realm of possibility. Yeah.
That'd be great.
They mentioned it for a reason. I mean, it's Easter egg, obviously, but it might hold a bit more weight than we think.
Alrighty, so last question, guys. What are we looking forward to next episode? Like, what do you want to see? Especially starting with you, JR.
I think definitely the development between Ellie and Joel is it's probably going to be one of the key things in the 3rd episode. I mean, I won't be surprised if we get some kind of flashback because Tommy's looming. So, and that's Joel's big thing. I mean, I know he's doing it for Tess, but in reality, he's doing it more to find Tommy. So that's going to be interesting as far as how if they're going to introduce Tommy now again. or they're gonna wait another episode. At the same time, is now we got the clickers. Now, like Rick said, you need more to stalkers. I mean, I think they need to show a little bit more to stalkers, especially for somebody like me who didn't play the game. I want to understand the stalkers a little bit more because we got a good like feedback on what the clickers are and how that they can't see, they hear, but I want to know more about the stalkers. So hopefully they're going to interact.
Now the stalkers can see.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
I want to know more about them, especially the fact that obviously they're the ones that
they got the little tentacles there.
Transmute the virus a little, the fungus a little quicker.
And there's more coming too. There's more. I get Lexi like.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah, good stuff.
What are you hoping to see next time?
Bill and Frank. It's time. By accident, I don't watch trailers, man. But when the show was over, I'm waiting for the the little interviews at the end, and he started playing something. I thought, oh, what is this? I'm like, halfway through, I'm like, oh, that's a fucking trailer. What the hell? I turned that shit off backward. But it's not like, okay, I know they're coming. So yeah,
I was the same way. I was like, la 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 la. No.
Good characters, important characters too in the story. That's gonna be real interesting. And they got who's the actor from? Oh my god, the guy with the mustache.
I recognized him, and I couldn't put him.
He's in all these memes, man. With the talking about he's so much show. Gerald might know, not Parks and Recreation. Was it Parks and Recreation? Anyway, I digress. But anyway, he's in it. I'm surprised. He's always in comedy, so seeing him here, all grungy and stuff. Like, oh man, that's.
I know cool. He's from comedy, and I can't put my finger.
I hate when I forget actors' names. But anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to more Joel and Ellie. Now they got their own time, just them. Tessa's out of the picture. Now Joel knows the importance of the mission. I want to see how that affects Joel's decision making going forward now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to absolutely everything. I want all the sauce. I guess I'm more looking forward to all more clickers. I want to see the bloaters. I don't know if it's going to be next episode. I think that's going to be a little more further down the line.
I would think so.
I cannot wait how they're going to put that together, because the way they put the clickers together, special effects and the makeup and the prosthetics and the spray paint, like, how are they going to do the bloaters? And they're massive. So that's going to be interesting. I can't wait for that. Like you said, I can't wait for Bill and Frank as well. That's going to be exciting, and they're very important to the story as well. Closing thoughts. Anything else that you want to mention, add? I know you were bothered by the kiss of death, is what everybody's calling it, JR. That's what I'm reading on the internet.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather have her going out. I mean, I know they weren't going to attack her because she was somewhat infected. I think they realized that she was infected. That's why they kept running by her. Mm. It wasn't until she made the noise with the click, with the lighter, that one stalker stopped and started coming towards her. But I just wanted her to go out more because she's a badass. And I feel like the way she went out was very soft.
That's why I had to dress
you know what it is? I'll push against that a little bit, because I think she let it happen, the kiss, because she knew she was gone for one, and she didn't want to draw, like, she wanted them to come to her. So she's trying to flick this lighter, and she's got no time. She's
sacrificing herself.
So she knows she's fucked. You know what? He's coming towards me. Oh, fuck, let me just put up with this. While she's still trying to, and as soon as she sparks it, you see her hand really twitch too.
Right.
And she didn't throw it. Her hand twitched so bad that it just fell out of her hands with the flame. Yeah. And
and that lighter didn't work in Uncharted either, so that's funny.
One more thing. That killed me too. I'm sorry. There's the truck outside. Why did you kill the truck?
Is there gas in there though? That's a good question, Gio. Because don't forget, 20 years into this, right? And they dumped a lot of gas.
But that was the truck that crew came into.
Yes.
So I'm sitting there like,
they didn't take the truck. There's got to be. I hope there's a reason why. Because
the only reason I thought of maybe they didn't take the truck was the worry of driving the truck over something to set off the hive. That's the only
Yeah,
maybe
it's
I
like,
thought of, but I'm saying
true.
like, damn,
That's
you
good.
hit the
Yeah, that's a good
truck, though.
shout.
You roll over the cordyceps, and
That's
and
good
it's a
shout.
loud truck too, so you're gonna bring even more noise.
At the same time, though, my man, this whole thing started because he's looking for a battery so he could like.
Yeah, so he's gonna drive
So
eventually.
he's gonna drive.
So,
Oh, and that is a difference in the game because they're not looking for a battery in the game; they're looking for guns that were stolen from them
Yeah,
from
you're
their
right.
camp.
Yep. Mhm.
there were guns in
So-
the
Good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I was sad to see Tess go, and this is what happens in the game, that she dies at this part. I want to say the clickers and the monsters and all of that were coming in at that scene in the game, but I can't be for sure, so I'm almost there. I'll update
I
you.
would think so because she got bit in the game too.
Yeah, she got bit in the same place.
Same place.
Oops.
Oh my god, you better go to the hospital. Go see Dr.
I had to dress
Rand.
like my girl Tess. May she rest in peace.
And
Oh man,
big
I
shout
really
out
did like
to the
her.
actress playing her. Oh man, like
Yeah,
you could tell, like when she told Joe, you know how I feel about you, and I never expected it back. Saying she loves Joe, but he doesn't love her back. They got a physical relationship, but that spark was never there. You know, and if the funny thing is, the one spark that happened was when she hit the lighter while she's kissing the fucking infected. Joe won't
Right.
kiss me, but he will.
yeah,
But yeah, it's
Yeah.
I loved her character. She did an amazing job, and
she did.
You wanna-
those 2 episodes, yeah, she stood
If you
out.
want to see her in a good series, she's on Netflix.
She's
It's
Torva. What's her name, Joe?
She's got
Torva.
Mindhunters on Netflix. It's a good series. So if you want to see her, she's good there too.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
And the use of sound, the sound of the clickers, though, even before they showed them,
yes.
they would sporadically hide in the background. Whenever
Like echo, almost like echo.
they'll turn the corner, you'll hear it. That's
when they were on the bridge, you could hear
yeah,
them from
even
before.
even on the bridge. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like smart, very smart.
Yeah.
The attention to detail in this show is so rewarding because no
Right.
matter how many times you watch it, you always find something.
Right, and it gives me anxiety now where they're gonna step, and like, are they gonna step on something, not realize it? And that gives me anxiety more than the spores does. So I do like the subtle changes. Ellie is growing on me. I know she wasn't a favorite pick. That was a big controversy. She wasn't the best or the favorite pick that everybody wanted her to be for Ellie, but she's growing on me. I like her. I think it's her sense of humor that buys me.
Yeah.
So those are my closing thoughts on the whole thing.
Cool.
I'm gonna miss Tess.
R.I.P.
Joel.
Tess.
I can't. I can't wait for Joel and Ellie's relationship to grow, because as they do, you're gonna understand more. You're gonna see Joel's layers peel very slowly.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say. You're gonna see those layers just
And
piece
boy,
by piece.
It's gonna be a fun ride.
Yeah. All right. So that is it for episode number 2 on the Horror Fiend podcast for The Last of Us. I'm Lexi. This is JR. And Ricky Grimes. I never know which way to go. I'm just
It don't matter. I just point everywhere. JR.
Right.
I don't point. I just say, my man JR.
Alrighty. Until next time. Can't wait to see you guys on episode 3. Until then, bye.